unless, of course, the Nidalee can have a big impact on that lane. I don't think that Fly himself should feel very scared at all, though, as there is a lot of pick potential on the side of Afreeca this time, even more than last game, if you can imagine.
So, having a little bit of a dig through while you were talking there, Mr. Valdez. Kiin does have an account where he likes to play around with some different things. Currently been playing a bit of Volibear, but does have a pretty decent win rate on the old Urgot. Currently, he's played 14 games, but 64% win rate ain't too bad. So he has been whipping that one out fairly recently, but it hasn't been in the last week. So I think they've been sitting on this for quite some time, this Urgot pick for the top side. And let's see how it does go, because once again, very tanky. Maybe not so much coming out of the jungle this time with the Nidalee there, but with Nautilus and the Galio plus Urgot, that's a lot of beef to be in front of Mystic to allow them to play once again exactly the way they did in Game 2.
Yeah, we'll have to see exactly how Spirit is going to pilot this Nidalee. It offers them a little bit more of a chance to, you know, not just only rely on the Aphelios, which, by the way, is totally fine if you are just relying on Aphelios, as we did find out in the last game. But this will allow Spirit to try to shut down the Graves a little bit more. It attacks the jungle more so than the last game and doesn't just allow Beyond to get, you know, 100 CS and 12 minutes or something ridiculous like he got in the last game. And it also offers you some nice objective control. So I don't mind the pick. I don't think that the Trundle was a massive part of why they did win the last game. And so the Nidalee will slot in quite fine after the Trundle ban.
Also don't mind having a bit of added sustain as well. The Primal Surge works similarly to a lot of these more supportive utility-based AP champions, with the fact that it does offer attack speed as well. So Mystic will be augmented as he moves further forward into this game. But the same can be said for the Ezreal here, because Kuzan once again has his Karma. I feel like this is a more honest game, but there is still the 200 years under the sea bottom lane for Afreeca, and that can always make things a little bit more difficult to understand. So Rich will spot Kiin here, moving on up towards the top side of the map, and let's just see how oppressive this Urgot can be. Just shotgun legging things, you know?
Yeah.
There we go. Taking the disdain first, as Rich taken down to half health already. There's the Conqueror. And yeah, if you move around all of his legs, you're probably going to have a bad time. So Rich might need to opt into a different style of approach to this lane.
Yeah, this is a very important game for Rich. It's very obvious that he is basically a two-trick player. He has played not very many games of anything that is not Aatrox or Lucian. And after the last game, they didn't want to run the Lucian back, understandably, and the Aatrox was banned. So he was kind of forced into something new. The Ornn is relatively simple enough, but you do have to know how to play him. And when you're going into a very strange matchup that Rich probably really doesn't play much of, it's definitely going to be difficult for him as he throws out the sad B and the Afreeca.
The last time we saw Urgot, it was jungle Urgot. That's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, and just over a year ago.
Yeah. Has certainly been a while. I remember when it was a case of every single game had a top lane Urgot, but not in that meta anymore, as GuGer not going to be able to find any ability to do much here. Zenith Blade missing, and Beyond is just going to say, well, you guys aren't really doing enough just yet. You can see, you can understand what they're doing, trying to make sure that they do punish the bottom lane, and it's going to work out. Ben has to flash. Oh! The flash forward from GuGer was so sexy, but not sexy enough, as he's going to go down. First Blood did go over to Dynamics, so theoretically it's an advantage, but the kill went to the Leona, and Mystic has already got one under his belt.
Yeah, I mean, it looked cool, but you're up against a Nautilus who is always going to punish you for getting underneath turret, and that's exactly what he did. Was able to trade that one back, and as you mentioned, the kill is going to be worth a lot more here. Onto the Aphelios, who's already got a nice, comfy start here in game number 3, not unlike many of the other games tonight. As you guys can tell, I am a little bit salty about this champion tonight. as he has pretty much ruled the games that we have been watching.
Well, let's see whether this Urgot versus Ornn lane is going to provide us with a little bit of added entertainment to take our mind off what is happening on the bottom side of the map. We've got a back coming through here from Mystic as Zenith Blade's going to land right at the end. But this 2v2 is probably not one that you want to take as Team Dynamics. Teleport's going to come forward. Mystic's completely out of mana, but he's got his flamethrower and he's got his Varus ultimate, and Beyond's going to have to get the hell out of there. Yeah, I feel like you can bring all your friends, but Mystic is just a little bit too strong, even at level 4.
Yeah, you can't just run straight into Aphelios with Burnham, grab him, and expect to either attack or defend, run away. You're not going to be able to do either, as he did show off there. Top lane hasn't been the kindest to Rich in the early stages, but as he gets items, he's going to have a lot more fun. Notice he's freezing, by the way.
Yeah, freezing or just trying to stop back. So we're going to have a look at this from the perspective of GuGer. This was actually really cool, but I don't think worked in the end.
He said nice, and then, oh, it's okay, it's okay.
Whether it is or not is something we're yet to find out, because I think feeding early kills to Aphelios is always a bad idea. That being said, it has equated to a slight CS advantage for deokdam down towards the bottom side. He's gone for his pickaxe first to just give himself some of those extra battle stats. A decent idea when you can't afford Sheen on your first back. Might be building towards a relatively early mana immune. Yep, Cannon's going to be traded here in the mid lane. This is something that we got used to in the last one. The old Karma versus Galio. Nothing much happens. Spoiler alert.
GuGer was spotted here on this ward. That was right there below the river. So, Afreeca going to have some nice pressure down on the bottom side because of that. Just going to put down some wards. And, you know, I was talking about this, how the mid lane is going to be pretty boring. I don't really think that going for a level 3 gank on the Leona is going to shut down the Galio that has flash. But I was trying for it anyway.
Yep. Rich turning back up towards the top side, turns his teleport into an ignite to help with his laning phase. But I don't think there's going to be too much going on in this lane either. Kiin, in fact, identifying that to the point where he's going to collect himself a cull and just look to scale. Not too difficult in this lane at the moment for the Urgot. He remains a little bit further ahead than Rich as far as farm, but I don't think either of these top laners are too worried about the situation.
We're just hanging out. There's not too much action in this game. I feel like every draft has gotten slowly but surely more towards the later game scaling kind of feel. As I was talking about, you know, jungle pressure and what you can do, Spirit has been able to out-farm Beyond and has been able to shut down any kind of early dragon attempts, different from a lot of other games we have seen. And with some of the pressure, they might just be able to come up here and take that dragon. You notice that even Fly was edging down towards there. They do have vision control over the area, so certainly something they can consider. I think he's getting to work on that now, actually.
Yep, has started that one off. Control vision is in the area. Pixel Brush does have a control ward here for Dynamics, so I think they do know or have an inkling of what's going on. Beyond just going to move on over to take his red buff. So, Ocean going to be taken down first. We have either a Mountain or a Cloud Soul this game. His Infernal Drake will be our second. And Afreeca now looking to try and get into the enemy jungle to try and cause a ruckus. Nothing there, though, so not going to be able to find too much.
They know the timing of the red based on the fact that Kiin went down and spotted the blue. Now, they don't know the exact timing because red wasn't the start, but they have a decent idea of when that should be coming up, and Spirit was able to go over there and check it and say, hey, that's down. So Graves should have been here very soon. And you can see there's a lot of pings now on the Rift Herald because they know that probably Beyond is up towards the top side of the map. And Nidalee, because nothing's going on, she can definitely try to get to work on that as well. We'll have to wait and see. She has a lot of camps for now, so that should be the main priority.
Yep, needs to try and catch up to Beyond. Both of these champions very, very good at just hard farming. And some Bellows, and just some burly boys. wet noodle fighting towards the top side of the map. Things are very even, though. I mean, this Urgot's not necessarily shutting down the Ornn by any means. But Urgot in this comp, I think, is really, really cool. The Fear Beyond Death really will allow Afreeca to snowball these team fights. Yeah. As now, Rich going to try and find his Ornn Horn, gets the knock up there onto Kiin, but the Fear Beyond Death is going to arm, and pop goes the Ornn. Good timing there for Spirit to make his way in as well, just to guarantee the kill.
Yeah. It's about the easiest timing you could imagine. Or I suppose the easiest kill that you could actually pick up there. There were a lot of pings on the bottom side Rift Scuttler, and I think they might have seen him on that ward, as Kuzan might be caught out here too.
Yeah, exactly. Great double taunt to come through as end of the line. Does get the double proc. Spirit in a bit of trouble. True Shot Barrage coming down as heroic entrance. Flash forward from Beyond just to make sure that the Kitty Cat Lady does go down. Oh, the interruption from Beyond as well as another end of the line is perfect. That was fantastically played by the mid-jungle duo of Dynamics, and they get themselves a little bit further ahead.
Yeah, it kind of feels like multiple times in a row they're overestimating the taunt CC from the Galio, and it's not really lining up. The enemy is usually able to flash away, as Kuzan was, and they're able to reset the fight. As Beyond was able to come over, he was able to counter gank that time around, as he was not able to up on the top side. And that's going to be a really nice swing over to the side of Team Dynamics, who get Karma her first item. We're going to rewatch this one, as Rich playing a little bit too far down the lane. They didn't know exactly where the Nidalee was. It was just about lights out from there. I'm not even sure that Spirit did much, to be honest, in that one.
He put out a Primal Surge.
Yeah.
Didn't do a lot.
And here it's just overestimating the damage that they have. And when a Graves is able to just run around a fight like that, you know he's going to be having a lot of fun. He's able to dash in, stop that one. As let's listen in.
Yeah, he plays this really, really well. There's no ward in this brush, right? Steps just out of range there, waits for the heroic entrance to come down, flashes into the brush to guarantee vision, and here quick draw is exactly in the right position to stop the Justice Punch. Just fantastically played by Beyond.
전령 우리가 때려야 돼.
And he's saying we gotta hit the Rift Heralds. And he's so calm. You know, everybody else on his team was basically yelling and screaming and like, oh, nice, great play. He's like, okay, where are we going? Rift Herald, we gotta take the Rift Herald. Beyond is here to win. He remembers his MVP days. He doesn't want to relive those.
Hey, they were a fourth place team at one point
Yeah,
in a spring
great.
split in 2018.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, not even 100% sure because we've already forgotten.
Yeah.
No, I mean, MVP was a fun team, but fortunately they didn't exactly reach that high level we were expecting, perhaps. As Rich, he hasn't had the most fun early game, but he's even on farm. You know, he's up against Urgot, which isn't the easiest matchup in the world, but he's going to sit there and he's going to do his job. And that's really all you can ask from him, because Beyond was able to get such a massive lead now after that play in the mid side. He can be spared his blushes.
Yep. And Rich doesn't get any of
I don't
those.
even think Beyond got any of that. He was
think
already
if
in the mid lane.
Summon Rift Herald, you get the money regardless, so...
Did they? So I thought it was like 2,000 yards or whatever, meters of units of distance, whatever they use. If you're outside of the 2,000, then you don't pick it up. I didn't see any of the gold fly out, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a yikes.
But I know it was either they put a range on it or he always gets it.
Yeah, I think he gets it because he killed it. And it doesn't matter, but a team fight's happened here as immediately Spirit just explodes. Kiin trying to get into the fight, though. We'll see whether he can actually change this one, as Beyond is going to go down very, very low. It takes him a while to die as Mystic is looking to try and take down deokdam. Oh my god, that was beautifully played. As there's a brilliant taunt coming out from Afreeca's mid laner in Fly, and Afreeca, they turn around what looked like a terrible fight start, as Dynamics do manage to take down the Drake.
That was Mystic just getting in there and 1v2ing like it's nothing. Had a little bit of help from his friend Galio, I believe, to lock down the initial kill onto Beyond, and then he just ends deokdam's life there towards the end. Really nice play from him. As the initial one, you can see they have insane burst damage. It's a very similar comp to last game. But then here, Mystic able to zone him away, the double root, which is insane. Kills Beyond, and then he lines up the Moonlight Vigil right after the Q with the Calibrum to lock him down over the wall, as he is both Caitlyn and Varus at the same time. So the rest of the fight was kind of just like tanks fighting, but once he essentially eliminated 2 of them by himself, the fight immediately started to go Afreeca's way. And now he's 3-0.
Yeah, Kiin's also 2-0, so he's also having a fantastic time. Black Cleaver completed, Glacial Shroud also there. So very tanky. Got his CDR, 30%, pretty good for the Urgot. You just want as much as possible. And yeah, this game has certainly fallen away from dynamics pretty quickly. They do have that Infernal Drake, and the Mountain is going to be coming up. Mountain's going to be very, very good. Both of these teams, actually. I mean, Rich, of course, benefits massively, as does GuGer on the side of dynamics. And Kiin's going to love it. Fly would love it also, and Ben. A lot of frontline here on both teams, so Mountain Drake will certainly be good. Whether it's going to matter, because of Captain 200 years over here, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if they can line up enough of them, there is a chance that it can negate the amount of damage that a 3-0 Aphelios at 15 minutes can shell out. But most gold in the game will go to Mystic. He also has Cleanse in this one, so he's going to be very hard to lock down on the side of Team Dynamics. And they're facing a real struggle ahead of them. They were at least able to pick up that Infernal Drake, which is quite nice. You don't want to give that to the fed Aphelios and the fed Urgot in this one.
He might be even more fed, as these two members of Dynamics already a little bit softened up underneath this turret.
Okay.
Orange, what the heck was that? That was a spear from Spirit. Okay, thank goodness. I was like, was that Aphelios somehow? But no.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes you begin to...
Solar Flare's going to land onto 2. They don't get onto Mystic as GuGer. Trying to get through. Rich does find the Ram and gets it onto the Aphelios, but GuGer is most likely going to die, and deokdam can't get back into this fight. Splylet picks up that first kill. Now Rich is trying to get out of there, but a beautiful dredge line is also going to land from Ben, and there was absolutely no way that re-engage was going to work. In the meantime, Kiin's just chilling up top lane. Getting turret plates, no, not anymore. 16, almost 17 minutes into the game, but he's just going to take down the turret instead. Dynamics have fallen apart. Valdez?
Yeah, it's pretty clear. I mean, they were really trying to force that one, but the turret went down so quickly, and I think that caught them by surprise. And then they were like, oh, we're kind of forced into this anyway. Let's try to get in there. The teleport from Karma, to be honest, at this stage of the game isn't doing too much, so she gets in there, and it's like, oh, well, I guess I'm just going to shield and run away. And it was kind of all over the place. Meanwhile, Afreeca were able to group up and shut it down pretty easily. They're going to pick up Shirley here with a couple of their Fed members. And now they're in a great spot. I mean, they could probably just come mid, drop Shirley, go down, take the Mountain Drake. And still a lot of damage in the comp here. We're going to take another look as Trishot Barrage comes out, but then Mystic immediately basically full health because he's Aphelios. And then the knockup comes in, but it's 4v3 for the longest time because Kuzan's teleport was much slower than the hero's entrance. And then it all goes downhill from there, as deokdam actually nearly died to that spear if he wasn't a little bit, or if he wasn't that fast. So there you have it. Able to turn that one around. The Galio global presence really coming into big effect.
Yeah, I think the heroic entrances have actually been fantastic out of Fly this game. Tower falls topside, so Dynamics do pull it back within about 3,000 gold. I believe that's going to be answered pretty quickly as this turret is on its last legs in the mid lane. I think it was 20 minutes from now that the outer turret in mid fell to Afreeca in game number 2. So we have upped the pace just a little bit here. You mentioned it, through the Herald in the mid lane and then move towards this Mountain Drake, and that's exactly what Afreeca are going to do. and it's all just smooth sailing. So you have the first couple of items picked up by deokdam, so the Ezreal is scaling, but you're going to have to see more from deokdam on this champion to really warrant the added emphasis on Ezreal in comparison to the Aphelios. Because so far in the LCK, it's not just dynamics. Ezreal loses to Aphelios most of the time. I think there's been 9 times now, and he just always loses.
Yeah, the analyst desk actually went into that where it's like 6-1 in favor of Aphelios. And the thing they said, which was interesting, is that most of the players in the LCK know how to play both of these very high-tier AD carry champions to a high level. And there's a reason why Aphelios keeps winning every single time, you know? Yeah. And I think that's a little, you know, that's kind of just taking the stats a little bit out of proportion, but I do agree on some level that it just, from watching the games, that Aphelios seems to help his team a bit more than the Ezreal does, especially with deokdam not quite able to flex as much as like a ruler or a deft would here in the LCK.
Oh, that was actually pretty cute there from Kiin as he throws out the ultimate, does Rich. Good knock-up is going to land, but buffering the dash is pretty good as he disdains his way out. Beyond avoiding one of these spears here, as Mystic will just get to work killing all of these creeps. And Kuzan going to get a snare onto Fly. Just not a lot of damage. Now we're looking for a taunt. Does land here as Afreeca are just going to group in the mid lane. They will be able to take down that turret. Solar Flare stuns 3, which is fantastic, but Mystic is not one of them. And Rich doesn't have his ultimate available just yet. Good double knock-up there with just his charge. But he just dies. I'm not entirely sure what the plan was.
Oh, okay.
Aphelios is, yeah,
okay. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems fair. I don't know. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, he is on 2 items, and they don't.
He's
really
5-0-2. Actually, it barely matters which
existences.
champion he is right now. He's very, very fair.
But especially because he's Aphelios, he can kill 3 members from 5 miles away. And yeah, I mean, they're just going to pick up the Baron from here and probably move on to eventually win this one. As we talked about, team dynamics, really, they look so clean in game number 1, but I feel like their greenness and their lack of experience in the LCK has really come to hurt them slowly but surely after losing game number 2 and into game number 3. As Rich gets a nice engage, but everybody else is like, we're too scared. I mean, they're too look at Kiin, he's full health and he does a lot of damage even, so.
Oh my god.
As, yeah.
It's a lot of crescendums.
Whoa.
Have a look at Mystic.
I got him.
It wasn't even on the screen.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no, there he is. All right. Just kill him. All right. Well, Aphelios doing Aphelios things here in the mid game.
Yeah. That windowed mode, though, I don't know. I don't know if I could play on that.
There's a lot of our players that actually play like that.
It's pretty intense. There's a lot of wasted room on the screen, but I suppose it really focuses in everything on the middle.
Yep. You don't have to move your eyes as much, I guess. More efficient.
And now Mystic is basically a fountain turret here at 22 minutes.
Yep.
Walking around, having a fun time, shooting people with his sniper gun. And with the Baron this early on, Afreeca are looking to get whatever advantage they can on the map, trying to push mid and bot at the same time.
It's the 1-2-1 with Spirit sort of running around and assisting in side lanes. Working out very well here so far for Afreeca. Feeling pretty textbook, guys. Guys of the collective waiting at home. This is certainly looking like an Afreeca victory.
Oh boy.
And Mystic is having a good time as Kuzan gets a snare onto Kiin. The turret's doing a lot of work. As we'll see whether Kiin is going to be able to survive this one. True Shot Barrage straight up misses, and we're not going to be able to get any of the throwback. So Kuzan will survive for the moment. Kiin does fall down, but he buys a lot of space for his team to take down both inner turrets in mid and bot lane.
Yeah, a worthy sacrifice, essentially. He's got TP. It'll be ready here on time for the Mountain Drake. And Mountain Drake is actually really nice for their team because you're even going to go Death Stance on the Aphelios, so everybody is going to have resistances. You got Athenes and the Ninja Tabby. Let's take a look at how this started up here. He actually just went for the kill, but wasn't quite able to lock him down for long enough inside of his machine gun. Didn't quite have the damage, then eventually got punished for it. But as we said, I mean, both bot and mid-tier 2s go down in the trade as everybody on the side of Dynamics went over there to try to lock him down.
Yeah, really was the priority, trying to take down the Urgot. Shows a little bit of desperation here as it's 6,000 gold lead for Afreeca. They have Soul Point now with triple Mountain Drake stacking, which would be absolutely terrifying, as you already illustrated. And Baron's going to be back up in 2.5 minutes. Afreeca just running away with Game 3. After what was looking like Dynamics series to win after game number 1. But I mean, this happens, man. You get like a game number 2 where Afreeca are able to win it in 50-odd minutes. The momentum's certainly with them moving into this game. And I guess the elephant in the room that we have to address is why the heck people are prioritizing Ezreal over Aphelios.
Yeah, or Karma over Aphelios.
Or banning Aphelios.
Yeah, they were on blue this side as well. They were like, you know, actually going to ban, what do they go for bans here? TF Trundle Callista.
Yep, and yeah, as Varus said, Olaf on the side of Afreeca this time around is Fly, not going to be able to Justice Punch his way out. Slow does land from the smoke screen out of Beyond. Not going to be able to take down the Galio.
Yeah. And if you're watching this game and you're saying to yourself, Aphelios is very, very strong right now, and I mean, I do agree. I think he is a bit overtuned right now. There are ways to try to draft around it that I think Dynamics haven't really totally done. I mean, shorter range champions that get in your face to do damage are not going to have fun against a guy who will just do a million times more damage in an AoE fashion like Aphelios. So you either have to outrange him or you have to outpoke him, basically. And I feel like in both instances, they didn't quite get enough of either. Like the focus on the Leona Graves, let's say, for instance. You really need to get right in the face of the Aphelios to do your damage and to get your lockdown. Because Solar Flare is incredibly hard to hit, just, you know, straight up. Also, he has Cleanse, so that's not going to just do it by itself. It's something that LS has talked about a lot, where he feels like a lot of teams aren't really drafting well against Aphelios, and that's part of the reason why he's having so much success. Because teams just kind of sit there, draft comps that aren't great into them, and then let him scale up and then die to him in the point where he looks the strongest. So,
and
we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, he's being delivered lanes that he can win as well, which is absolutely crazy. Because there are certainly lanes that can punish the Aphelios, but this Aphelios Nautilus is winning against all sorts of different lanes that we've seen thus far in the LCK. So we'll see how our teams are going to deal with it as time goes on, and we'll see how Dynamics deal with Afreeca in this game. Certainly feels over. 7,000 gold the lead at 27.5 minutes into this game. The Baron is available. Mountain Drake up in 1.5 minutes, which will be the Mountain Soul. Dynamics desperately trying to find whatever vision control they can get their hands on. Right now you can see how many Afreeca has in the area. Control Ward's going down, but Spirit will immediately get rid of that. Mystic just waiting behind the rock, looking for an opportunity to kill everyone.
Yeah. He's not really scared of much, as they don't have too much CC. I like the idea of adding in the Ornn if you're going to go with Ezreal Graves Karma again for that extra range lockdown. You're going to try to struggle to get in here. I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, Beyond is going to be over to the side, but they are going to pull off the Baron. Heroic entrance is good, making sure that they keep Mystic safe. His health bar is full. That means that Afreeca are winning. GuGer's going to go down. Rich trying to dive in as Mystic going down low. GuGer's at least tanky, but look, he's not going to be killing Mystic anytime soon. deokdam now trying to do what he can, but He's softened up some members of Afreeca. Now, I mean, theoretically, you can try and go in for this one as Mystic flashes on top of him. Kuzan and Beyond are still alive. It's Kuzan using that Mantra W to keep himself up. Kiin gets a huge heal out of that Primal Surge. It's what happens when Athenes is built second on your Nidalee. But Dynamics do manage to walk away with their lives.
Yeah, finally deokdam is making that Ezreal worth picking against a ultra-fed Aphelios. Aphelios really not the best guns for that fight. I think he had Infernum Gravitum, and that's good in lane for locking down multiple members, but okay, that was close. Nice try by Kiin. He had that extra movement speed after the teleport, and that will give them the Mountain Soul, which essentially means that Afreeca still won the fight in a big way.
Oh yeah.
But
I mean, they did anyway. They killed more people.
Yeah, true. And yeah, I mean, Mystic, even though he didn't have the right guns, he's still so far ahead that it didn't actually matter in the end. I feel like Dynamics did fight this probably as best as you could. Right, it's pretty all over the place. The tanky members of Afreeca aren't getting the most value that they possibly could. And deokdam was kind of left to do his own thing. So if there was going to be a team fight for him to win, I'm going to have to hold that thought.
Yeah, as we're teleporting into the bottom lane with Baron available, Kiin possibly going to go down here, but 1 versus 3 means that it's going to be a bit of a walk to get Dynamics back to the area. Spirit already there, but it looks like they're not going to collapse immediately. And Mystic was for some reason bottom lane, so not going to capitalize just yet. But he's got a big shield with Severum and Mountain Soul. He needs a Bloodthirster to have, like, actually 2/3 of his health bar be shield naturally at the beginning of every fight.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Kiin just kind of gets caught out here. They do expend a teleport for this, which I'm not 100% sure if they did need, but Beyond is in there, or rather Kuzan is in there to give them the shields to secure the kill. As we mentioned before, the Karma teleports aren't ultra effective anyway, and it's not like these teams have been focusing too much on split pushing either, so able to get in there, pick up a kill. It's a small win. They're going to need a lot more of those to try to come back in this one against Mountain Soul.
100%. They do have some ornaments coming in. You know, Luden's Pulse completed. Kuzan probably would want those stats on Rabadon's, but he's nowhere near that item. So they need the stats now in order to keep themselves in this game. Whether they are is, I guess, something that you can debate among yourselves. Up against Mountain Soul and a 7,000 gold deficit plus Aphelios with 4 items. Is a very scary prospect, but they are still here. They are on the Rift. The fat lady, she's warming up her vocal cords, but she hasn't started her aria just yet. Now Afreeca moving towards this Baron, which is available. True Shot Barrage used just to scout it out. Rich dealing with Fly on the bottom side.
Yeah, they're going to have to shell out some insane amount of damage into this Afreeca team that has so many defensive stats. Can Kiin actually just solo this? I think he can, but Spirit is going to help out.
Going to take a while, but yeah, possibly.
The two of them can definitely duo it, so they're just going to go with that and let Aphelios try to zone them out with the help of the Nautilus.
Rich looking to try and get himself a home guard teleport potentially, but no, just going to move back towards the bottom lane because Fly is still pushing. Get a decent knock up, but not doing any damage whatsoever to the Galio. Get the turret involved. You're going to at least stop him from standing under it for too long. But you can see Afreeca back on this Baron. The shields and heals and everything coming through onto this team are just ridiculous.
Yeah. The
back away.
The 30-minute Roa on the Nidalee is kind of laughable, but at the same time, she's doing her job. You know, she got the Athene second after jungle item, and you know she's not here to get massive hits with her spears, or she wants that support item first, and she did pick that up. So it looks a little bit funny, but eventually does get it, as it's definitely one of the best items for Nidalee anyway. And the game seems to be going long anyway, so we'll see if it can really stack by the end of this one.
Last game was very, very long, so theoretically you will be able to get full stacks as GuGer's going to get pulled back into the team. Flashes away. The ulti comes through. Thankfully, does have a few heals available and the shielding in from the Inspire, and GuGer somehow survives. Not bad. Gets the heal out from deokdam just to help him out with the Inspire on top of it. But Afreeca know that GuGer's not going to be anywhere near this next fight. They should be able to start this Baron and understand that it's a 5v4 with very big turn opportunities. Oh, Fly waiting off to the side. The vision is perfect here as Rich is going to face check. It's a great taunt. And he's thrown around like a ragdoll. It's most definitely going to go down, not without getting a decent knock-up out first, but that's removing another member from the fight. And yeah, Mystic's on fire. Doing a lot of damage as this Aphelios, as he might get all 4 of the Afreeca wins player of the game.
Yeah, I think he will. Good old Aphelios helping him out there. And yeah, pretty much eventually had to give that one away. The Nautilus is sitting on 225 armor just without even using Stoneplate, which he has already. As someone had to face check. They weren't just trying to give it away without putting up a fight, but they barely tickle the front line of Afreeca at this point with the extra shielding and all the extra resistances. It's not an easy feat for the members of Team Dynamics.
I love this. Spirit's actually just built a Mikhail's Crucible as his 4th item. He's going full utility, which is exactly what you want to be doing. Damage is basically irrelevant, especially when you've got a lot of magic damage coming out of Fly now. My god, Rabadon's Death Cap completed as his 4th item. Got a 5th one to come through, which should be a Void Staff. As Afreeca, they've got 5 seconds until the Elder Drake, which will be their next target. True Shot Barrage comes down, as that's a lot of damage onto Spirit, but he bounces his way out of the fight. Ornn is brilliant. As there's the Fear Beyond Death. GuGer's going to go down. Heroic Entrance to come in here as well. Gets the knock up only onto Rich. As Fly going down low. Mystic, guys, is at full health. And there's the burst damage that we were waiting for. I was just wondering when that fight was going to instantly be over with the amount of AoE that good old Aphelios does have available to him. Took them a while. It looked like it was a decent attempt there from Dynamics, but Afreeca, they were just too tanky, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they're so far ahead at this point. I mean, it's almost 10,000 damage that, as we were saying before, even if they do get the perfect engage, which it was about as close to perfect as you're going to have a chance of in that last fight with the Solar Flare onto multiple with the True Shot Barrage coming in, they really just don't take damage. And it looked like Spirit was the one that they got to about half health.
Yeah.
And then he just backed off, healed himself, and
8,300 of healing.
So
not bad, especially when you're considering Nidalee versus Karma, and he did more work than Kuzan did, which is absolutely insane. Rich trying to get rid of Kiin, but Kiin ignoring him for now. Kuzan's going to move in and at least make him rethink that idea, but the inhibitor's going down in the mid lane. It's taken for free. Mystic's happy to frontline by the looks of things. Infernum Severum is actually a terrible combo when he's this fed. And that's 2 inhibitors. Lickety split, and remember there's an Elder buff, so this is a team fight that you don't really want to take if you're Dynamics. Rich looking to try and throw the ram in. He does manage to nail Mystic. It does no damage as there's a live visual explosion of damage there as immediately it's a triple kill coming through from Fly. Will he be able to get himself the Penta? The answer is no, but it's a cheeky quadra kill with 1 stolen by Spirit, and congratulations Afreeca. Turn the series around